How in the world does the governing body sleep at night? I was thinking about that. I got so upset, and I was thinking, how can they sleep at night knowing what is going on? I think after 30, 40 years in the organization, they claim they read the Bible all the time and study the Bible all the time. And if they read the Bible all the time, they should discover certain things that would make them realize what is exactly wrong. A person sit down and actually read the Bible, chapter by chapter, by book, a person will be able to recognize other Christian people, other Christian attitudes. They would know what Jesus wants us to do and what Jesus says we should do, and the grace that God has shown us. I talked to several JW apologists on various sites on the internet, and if you bring up the fact that the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society hasn't done hardly anything to correct the child abuse and child molestation issue, they always bring up the fact that the Catholic Church has the same thing going on, that other organizations have the same problem. But the biggest difference is that those organizations, number one, admitted that they have the problem and have made big strides in trying to correct it and keep it from happening again and protecting the children. The Watchtower Corporation changed a couple of sentences and a couple of paragraphs in just one or two publications, and changing a sentence here and there doesn't do anything to stop or prevent the problem from going on. And we want to see a practical application of those changes, not just saying that they're going to, but see it follow through and actually happening, that these people are doing those things. One person said, an apologist said, that the molestation cases that are in the Watchtower Society are just 0.001% or something. That isn't right. They have their statistics very confused. Now, I understand there's about 8 million Jehovah's Witnesses in the whole world. But you can't take the number of cases in one country and compare it to that number in the whole world. You have to take the number of Jehovah's Witnesses in that country and figure it with those cases in that country. There was a person on on YouTube who has never been a Jehovah's Witness. The only reason he became interested in this because he lives in Australia and heard the cases that were going up against the Royal Commission. And so he got interested in it and did a bunch of research, and he came to realize that the same thing that we did was that the Watchtower isn't doing anything about it. But What he did was he counted the number of cases in Australia that were that the Australian Royal Commission came up with the number of cases of unreported child molestation cases in Australia versus the number of witnesses in Australia, and it came up to over 4%. Now, I know that if you took the number of Jehovah's Witnesses in the United States and the number of cases, I haven't figured it out, but they say that there's 36,000, and then you count the number of Jehovah's Witnesses in the United States, I'd say that the percentage is pretty high, a lot higher than it ever was in the Catholic Church. That isn't a valid argument. Now, when you talk to a JW apologist or a JW, most of them don't even know about the Australian Royal Commission. And also, even though Jeffrey Jackson testified in front of the Royal Commission, most Jehovah's Witnesses follow the line that they heard on JW Broadcasting, that whatever they hear about child molestation is apostate lies. So that stops them from looking it up or researching it, because they instantly think that it's all lies because the governing body told them so. I believe, and a lot of my friends and people that I have met or even just conversed with that I don't know, people that have heard about what's going on, are very shocked. And the fact that Jehovah's Witnesses aren't aware of it or have even looked into it is very troubling. Now, if I knew that my children were going to a school, say, and when they were in that school, that there was several cases of children being molested at that school, I'd take my kids out of that school until they got to the bottom of it and find out why, who, where, and what in the world is going on. I'd transfer them somewhere else, or just take them out of that school, though. But that's not happening in the church organizations. When they hear about the child molesting that's going on, they still keep them there. And the governing body, the headquarters, the elders in the congregation are not making people aware of any cases or anything that's going on. It's considered confidential. So you don't know who your child is sitting next to in a Watchtower meeting. You don't know if the person that the child is sitting next to is the person that's involved in a child molestation case, and then the elders haven't told anybody. How in the world can the governing body sleep at night knowing that they do not tell the congregations about the things that are going on and be honest with them? They know they're hiding those things. What else are they hiding? Well, in this age of information, it's a choice if you're not informed, because it's just a click of a mouse. Google this, Google that. You can come up with hundreds, thousands of articles on a related subject that you can research on and read about and find out. There's even ways to find out if the articles are real, true, false, fake. You know, all that stuff is out there. You just gotta click a mouse. So these people in these organizations that don't know what's going on, It's a choice they've made. Now, I believe that the governing body is responsible because of all the things that they hold back. They don't tell the members that they have a Watchtower Brooklyn real estate operating out of Watchtower headquarters. Why in the world is a real estate office operating out of the headquarters office? To me, that seems like having money changers in the temple. Jesus would have gotten really mad. I can't imagine. Now, the fact that the organization says and tells their people, and the people tell other people that they are no part of this world. That's why they isolate themselves and stay away from people that are not part of the organization, because they don't want to contaminate themselves, so to speak. But what they do is they shut themselves off from everything, and they don't know what's going on. And the governing body and headquarters use that to their advantage so that people don't know that there's a real estate office operating out of headquarters building. And that they know all about the child molestation cases against the corporation of Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, and they don't let their members know the truth of it. There's no articles in the Watchtower about, we were sued last month for millions of dollars because someone has claimed that this or that. They don't give them any information on that whatsoever. Nothing. Those are things that you got to click that little mouse and do some research on. The governing body is also aware of the stocks and bonds that the society holds and collects money off of every year, trust funds that people have signed over to them that they know about. The trust funds are stocks that are held in Philip Morris, a cigarette company, the Disney Corporation, where Jehovah's Witnesses aren't supposed to go to Disney World, the Magic Kingdom, because of the magic part of it. So you're not supposed to go there or bring your kids there, but they collect money from it every year. I don't think that's right. And a lot of people think that if you're a religion that claims not to let your members smoke, and that you don't go to the Disney Magic Kingdom because you don't believe in witches, wizards, and magic, and they keep people away from that, why are you collecting money from that? Why does your corporation even hold those stocks? You should have gotten rid of them and been done with it. You should dispose of them. Just like Jehovah's Witnesses, regular congregation rank and file, have to dispose of things like that in their life. Well, the corporations should do the same. How do they sleep at night? The other thing is that when JW apologists come at us and tell us that we're just being spiteful, that we were hurt or did something wrong and were kicked out. Now see, I got disfellowshipped from being a Jehovah's Witness because of a sin. Okay. But I also understood that when I made that grave mistake in my life, I was instantly disfellowshipped, cut off from family, friends, not allowed to be involved in anything, and I was treated like I was invisible. It was really strange. I'd walk into a Kingdom Hall, and it was like people saw right through you, past you. They wouldn't even look at you. No eye contact, no nothing, like you were completely invisible. Now, what does that do for a person who's spiritually in trouble? If you're spiritually in trouble and you've done something wrong that's considered a sin, then how is getting rid of them and disassociating them helpful? It gives them no encouragement, no upbuilding, nothing. And when I think of Jesus' life, he didn't come here to save the people who already believed. He came to help the people that didn't believe. And he spent his time with prostitutes and tax collectors and all the people that really needed help. Those are the people that he helped. Do Jehovah's Witnesses help other people? Do they look out for their own kind? You know, if there's another Jehovah's Witness that is this close to losing their home, do the other Jehovah's Witnesses help? Usually not. Will Jehovah's Witnesses help other people that are this close to losing their homes or families, or this close to being hungry? Or I don't see any Jehovah's Witnesses out on the street helping the homeless or the hungry or people that need shoes or clothes or anything like that. I don't see any Jehovah's Witnesses doing that. They look the other way. And that is just so un-Christ-like. Christ went out and helped people to teach them things. But Jehovah's Witnesses cut off their association with people that are not Jehovah's Witnesses. So they don't see the picture. They don't see the big picture. They don't see the people on the streets with no shoes because they look right past it. Just like a disfellowship person, you know, they see right past them. They look right through them. And I think they do the same thing with the homeless and the hungry and everything. Oh, well, don't worry about them. They're not Jehovah's Witnesses, so who cares? You know, they don't. They don't care. And another thing is, it seems like a rant, but it's not. I mean, I would really like the governing body people, elders, people in the congregations to hear this, is because you don't see how the world sees you. You think of yourself as a certain way, but you're so cut off from everybody else and everything else, that you're taught and told, don't do this, don't go here, don't talk to these people, don't do this, dress this way, talk this way. Most people, when they've worked at their job for a certain amount of time, get a vacation. Some people have a paid vacation, some people don't, but they save up for a vacation. Jehovah's Witnesses spend their vacation, time and money that they've earned from working, going to conventions. You don't get to go camping or fishing for your vacation. You spend your time and money going to conventions and meetings and field service. If you can picture this, one day you're studying for the meeting that comes up the next day. So you're studying for the meeting, you go to the meeting. So you got study meeting. The next day you are studying for the meeting that's coming up next. So your study meeting, and in between all that is field service, field service, field service, field service. And so your study meeting, field service, you know, mixed in there. Any time you have off, you go to conventions. You're in that little group of people all the time. Those are the only people you spend time with, the only people you talk to, the only people that you associate with. And so you don't know what's going on in the world around you. You might watch the news, but it just feeds into what the organization is telling you. The world is an evil place. But you know, there are lots of good, Christ-like, wonderful, loving, friendly people in the world other than yourself. You just got to talk to them and meet them. And go out there and look for yourself. And see lots of good people in the world. Not all of them. Many of them are not Jehovah's Witnesses. Most people that meet Jehovah's Witnesses think that they're stuck up and have a superiority complex. They do. When you get out of the religion, then you find out that, yeah, you know, I spent my whole life thinking I was better than everybody else. You know, it's a humbling experience that you have to actually say, oh, wow, these people are good people, and I'm a nobody. I'm a nobody. I'm not any better than anybody else. But anyway, back to the subject. I think that the governing body should have trouble sleeping at night. When they know about all these things that are hidden from the regular congregation going Jehovah's Witnesses that they don't tell them about and withhold that information, isn't lying still lying if it's lying by omission? There are lots, and I mean, I can't even count them all, different companies that are included in the Watchtower Corporation. Now, I'm sure the governing body is aware of it. They're aware of the billion or so dollars that flood into the organization every year from the stocks and bonds that are evil, that they still collect money off of, that are wrong. And they don't mention any of that. They don't put up the financial records of the whole corporation. All they show is the congregations, book studies, Bible studies, baptism rate, stuff like that. But they don't show you where the money is coming from and where the money is going. Now, if Watchtower is in the real estate business, why can't people be in the real estate business? But the organization constantly tells people that we're so close to this end of the system that there's no point in getting caught up in those worldly things because the time is so short. You need to spend your time pioneering and preaching and all that because there's not much time left. But the organization has all their fingers in everything in the world. All kinds of things. But they don't tell the members about it. And I just wondered, how does the governing body sleep at night? You know they know those things, and they know that the regular congregation going Jehovah's Witnesses don't know anything about it. How do they sleep at night, knowing that all this truth is withheld from the normal rank and file? How can they sleep at night knowing that they're lying by omission and not being truthful about where their money comes from and where their money goes to? And how can you call this a 501c charity organization when there's nothing charity about it? They're not feeding the homeless. They're not feeding the hungry. They're not clothing the people with no clothes. They're not doing anything that Christ told them to do other than going door to door. The people in the organization, the rank and file, when you see the numbers written up about the numbers of Bible studies, it's not an accurate number because the publishers are counting Bible studies with their own children. These aren't Bible studies with interested people that are interested in being a Jehovah's Witness. A lot of those Bible studies that are counted are Bible studies they count studying with their own children. Now, if you study with your own children, that should be an obligation. That shouldn't be something that you count on your time card. And if a Jehovah's Witness does come up with enough time and money to take their family fishing and camping, then what you have hanging over your head is, well, even though we're on vacation, we still have to turn in time. So you spend your vacation constantly looking for ways and means to hand out publications and tracts and still turn in your time when you get back from vacation. Well, what kind of vacation is that? That if you're still working while you're on vacation, do you not realize that Jehovah's Witnesses don't have a Sabbath? They don't have a time to sit and relax. They're constantly thinking about what the corporation wants them to do and say and where they're supposed to go, and they have that constantly. They don't get a chance to sit and actually enjoy camping and fishing and unwind and relax. There is no Sabbath. There is no day of rest. They're constantly going. They're constantly thinking. And biblically, that's wrong, too. You know, you're supposed to have a day of rest and relax. But between the study meeting, and field service, field service, then you're constantly thinking, well, even when you do sit down to do something, you have to be studying, or you should be out in field service, or, I mean, it's just all the time. You know, there is no chance to unwind and relax and enjoy your family, play with your kids, you know, take them to the zoo. Because even if you take your kids to the zoo, you have to hand out pamphlets and brochures and magazines and books and all that other stuff. There's no chance to unwind and relax and let go and appreciate this planet for what God made it. You know, you have to get in touch with those things and feel the peace of Jesus and appreciate the grace of God and all that. You don't get a chance. Well, anyway, I had to say my say. But like I say, they're waiting on Jehovah to fix a problem that they need to take the initiative in and fix. Fix your policies to protect the children and protect the women and children. This is the 21st century, not the first century. So you have to adjust your policies to apply in the 21st century. Please, do something. Everybody. There's millions and millions of people waiting for Watchtower to do something. But you see, we sit here and we watch them in the Royal Commission, and the Jehovah's Witness organization has done nothing. They changed a sentence here and there and said, "Oh yeah, we changed things. We've changed things in the last 30 years, and they haven't done anything." You know, if you know there's things going on in your congregation, do like some others that I know have done and take your children out of there until they figure it out. And while you're not going, do some clicking of the mouse and do some research and find out what is really going on. Because the organization, the governing body, is not telling you. They will not tell you. And they put it in your head that whatever you hear, unless it's not from them, it's apostate lies. Well, that's not true. They know what's going on. It's just you that don't know what's going on. So, peace, everybody. I know a lot of you people that are watching my video know exactly what I'm talking about. I want people in the organization to wake up and realize you are being lied to, misled, and click a mouse. Because in the age of information, not knowing is your choice.